I mean to scour the annals of knowledge of Midgard Soma, given his great age. I dare say he appears to be more than a few... Do you hear that? The commotion outside. Would you see if aught's amiss? Think we'd better not be hammered again. He was hammered like 5 minutes ago. Meteor! 'Tis well you're on hand. We have a problem. Royale has escaped. It happened shortly after the immortal flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trouble, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. You guys trusted her in the group that she had wrapped her tendrils around? Nobody thought that somebody could let her out? That she had any co-conspirators at this point? The turnkey was found slain along 2 guards. 'Tis plain she received inside help. Duh! Citizens report seeing Royale quitting the city via the Gate of Nord. And with a bloodied spear at her hand. We were told she was good with those. She makes for Castrum Meridinium, and I am certain of it. With her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed, what recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilbert and the First are hot upon Royale's heels. And now, pray make haste to Camp Blufrog, and join the hunt. Alright. Well, let's head out then. What's going on, Fenrir? And yes, I use ESDF, so it frees up a whole row for your pinky there. Not only is a pinky good for elevating while drinking tea, you can also use it to press abilities. Such as Berserk. And what's bound to A? Heavy Swing. And... I don't think I have anything bound to Z on this character yet. But we'll get there. Alright. My thanks for coming, son. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say Royale walks through the camp, not a bell ago. She walked right through. You did not mishear me. We have Ralbon's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her. And so, here we are. Royale must not be allowed to reach the castrum. I agree. Yeah, I agree. So, why didn't I meet you at the cerulean processing plant? This appears very well city-state controlled, and aetherites only appear where city-state's controlled, not super close to castrums, with the exception of the cerulean processing plant, which probably breaks that rule because it's immensely valuable to ceruleum. So it's weird to me that they wouldn't have a bigger presence here to defend that, because you don't need the Empire having any access to aetherites, right? Yeah, we've got Immortal Flame stuff right here. Why didn't we meet up here? That's so weird. Alright. Oh, here you are. We could have walked up here together. You could have rode in my whale. You cannot do this while being a crafter, or a gatherer, or having friends. Abandon all friends. Delightful. Imperials can't teleport because they can't manipulate ether. Not... So, this is my first time through story, so I don't know everything, but my understanding is that while a natural-born Imperial does not possess magics, that the Garleans, as a full movement, do have people that can manipulate magics, which we see teleporters in Garlemald. Let me go make sure my house isn't on fire. I'll be right back. Not on fire? Not on fire. Might just be dust. It's okay. House is not on fire. We're all good here. That scared me. I promise it was louder here. This wretch was with Royale. He threw himself at his mistress, that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own. The goddamn harpy. With me, Scion, we almost have her. There she is. There she is. Oh, game on. I want Roel alive. Kill the rest for Eorzea. That's just a new noise that we have to enhance combat. You will not take me so easily this time. I don't know. Maybe we have CO2. Is materia used for... Materia is only used for in-game content. That's it. In-game content. Low battery? It could be low battery. It could be low battery. My wife's home from work, so she's there. Man, just imagine how tragic it would be if we were allowed to bring friends into this content. What? I can't move. I don't recommend being stronger. All reinforcements? They really aren't paying me enough. Oops. You cannot stand against the Empire. They have healers. Kill them first. Oh, I'm gonna kill everybody. But sure, we can kill healers first. Healer's dead. Now kill the Bard, because we hate Bards. And they're a Sagittarius, which means they're born in what, like, end of the year? December? Have I managed to avoid most 2.x spoilers? So, Shadowbringers was my first time to care about the lore. I've been playing since ARR. So, I already know what happens in Shadowbringers, and I already know what happens in Endwalker. So there are certain things inherent to that that already spoil things for me. For example, today was my first time to meet Moen Breda. It's not my first time to hear the name Moen Breda. But I had no idea who Moen Breda was. So in Endwalker, they were like, Moen Breda, whoa! Okay. And in 5.0, we met Graha, and Graha's like, don't you recognize me? No. No, I don't know. No. But you seem like a nice guy. Alright. You can't imagine Shadowbringers without the context of Crystal Tower. So Yoshi P actually said, prior to Shadowbringers releasing, that not only was Shadowbringers written to be enjoyed by people who, of course, knew the story. That's awesome. But it was written to make sure. So if you go back and play Shadowbringers, all the 5.0 content, not the 5.x content, the 5.0 content. The 5.0 content regularly did things like, I'm Thancred. You may know me from this. I have this skill because of this. So it did a lot of that, like, fill in the stuff. You didn't think about it because you already knew those things, right? You had information I didn't. But to me, I was like, oh. So, like, Shadowbringers did a great job of catching me up. And a lot of that was helped by the fact that so much of 5.0, not 5.x, took place on the 1st. So there was so many people that, like, you didn't need to know, right? Like everybody that was on the 1st, you met them for the first time, and, like, Tataru and all that back here, did such a good job explaining what was going on here because they had to catch you up because you weren't here. So they would tell the Warrior of Light, this was going on. Remember why that's important? There were occasionally flashbacks as we moved into 5.1 through 5 where they, like, showed something from the Empire or whatever. And it was like, dun, dun, dun. I don't know. So there's a lot. When I'm going to replay Shadowbringers after this. I'm going to play straight through. So Stormblood will be... Heaven's Word will be new. Stormblood will be new. I assume when I go through Shadowbringers, there will be things that either A, I missed the first time, or B, I couldn't have known the first time. And then I want to play through Endwalker again, because my god, Endwalker was a lot to swallow. Alright.
Do you mind checking if your cheese was a pasteurized but not ultra pasteurized, dry aged for a minimum of 30 days? Like,
oh my god, so classy. Emma Llama coming in as I finish up 2.4 for my first time. Bind her and do it tight. She likes that thing, I've heard.
yes, sir.
Hello, llamas. Hello, hello. Good work, men. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Yeah, we. It was a group effort. I definitely didn't do more than anybody else. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of low? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want? I like her. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we lowbornish guardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to do to survive. Stealing, killing, even whoring myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagined me as a paragon when I joined the Flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person to ever have suffered. No, just that she suffered less than Brad over here. In case you have forgotten, Raubon himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth, with little more than shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion, yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that had been dealt, and we played it to the best of our ability. I'm sure you begrudged the monetarists plenty, bro. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different, then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth, and 'tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, sold your comrades. Did you not listen to her? She sold everything else too. If life has taught me one thing, it is that you never betray your own. I would sooner have cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You will return to Uldar to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. I explored it! What? No! 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 Oh, you're dead. Oh. Aaron, thank you so much for the support. Not so much as a hint of remorse. 'Tis well that this sordid business is finally at an end. All the things she said are fake. All the things I I'm in charge of the Crystal Braves. Did you know that? Our friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Raubon chose his. Thankfully, I am much more wise than him. Alphino, you're a brat, and she's the first
I've heard. Truly bothersome business.
voice.
No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Raubon. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace.
How does he always have this room to himself?
Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Does he just live in that boardroom? I did not expect a voiced cutscene. Captain Ilbard and I have quite a few questions for the Flame General regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Raubon. Now, that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one task for you, imagine that. Return to the Rising Stones. Pray return to the Rising Stones, and apprise Menphilia of all that has happened. I could do it over the phone, but your time is so much less valuable. I'm aware that the antecedent has held Royale in high regard. For better or for worse, she will want to know how this tale ends. I don't know if any of you who have just joined me are getting my impression of Alphino, but while his voice actor is different in 2.0, I'm kind of glad that it is. He's kind of obnoxious. He's ridiculous. All right. Let's charge in. Entrance to the Solar. We're back. I'm surprised how much voice acting there's been as we approach the end of this expansion. I expected it to be less.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alphino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say.
Just to be clear, he sent me back to catch you up, and then he couldn't resist stealing the thunder by calling you and giving you the highlights?
Together with Raubon, Eline lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat.
Okay, but can we circle back on the part where Alphino told me to catch you up and then did it?
When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then.
Yeah, but the thing on Alphino.
But now is not the time to dwell on such matters.
No, we're gonna dwell on it. The little prick needs to be put in his place.
I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled.
Fine.
My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
I like
By
her.
now, I'm sure you're all familiar with White Auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
Gross.
In addition to Orocyte's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Is there no kill like overkill?
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether.
Is that a limit break? Which means that's actually formed of Dynamis, but we don't know about Dynamis yet.
Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands.
Oh, you have no idea, sweetie.
Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
So it is Aether? Well, were we...
Oh, what if we had two pieces of white orosite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Wasn't it immensely expensive on us to charge one? How are we going to charge two?
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
It would seem more research is in order.
Yeah, I just mostly...
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the Orosite.
I have questions.
And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Huh? What if you lend her a pair of hands, buddy?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands.
Ah, coffee doesn't mean coffee, man.
Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Uh-huh.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
This guy.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
Okay, I have a lot of questions about rejoinings.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God.
Oh, don't worry about that guy.
We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Uh-huh.